Sega on the beat.
Family, welcome back to Off Mic with Ivory. I'm your host, Ivory McDonald. This is the podcast where we have the conversation that you want to have, but you can't have on your platform mic, so we do it off mic with me. Again, I'm your host, Ivory McDonald. And for those of you who've been rocking with me for a while, I love y'all. Thank you so much for your support, for commenting, sharing, subscribing, all the things. I appreciate you so much. For those of you who are new to this family, welcome. I am a believer in Jesus Christ. I am a worship leader. I'm a daughter of the King of Kings, and I just love talking about worship. I love talking about life, because I'm a firm believer that life affects us as worship leaders, whether you're a worship leader or just a worshiper, a believer in Jesus. This platform is really targeted for those who are in worship ministry, but I think everybody can benefit from these conversations. And so without further ado, we're doing things differently this season, this next stretch of podcasting and Off Mic with Ivory. The Lord told me to simplify because, amen, my bank account was getting dry, So, folks don't know it costs money to rent studios, to hire people, and all the things. But the Lord told me to come back to this, and one of the things He told me to do was simplify. And one of those things was to do virtual recordings. And so let me first introduce my good friend, my brother. He is not new to this platform. He has been on several episodes, and he has been the one that comes for our throats every time. And I don't know why you shaking your head, because you do. Without further ado, I want to introduce to some, present to others, my brother, DWayne Bennett. He is...
Yo.
He's a producer. He is a musician. He plays just about every instrument that there is. He's a music director for several ministries, right? Or am I just making this up? Yeah. Okay.
Oh, no.
He's a husband. He's a father. And he's my good friend and my brother. DWayne, my brother, how you doing, sir?
As well. I'm happy to be here. I'm glad we're back.
Listen.
We're doing this again.
What the folks don't know is it took us an hour and a half to get this thing together.
To this very point.
My God. Okay. And I'm sweating. Do you understand? I'm sweating.
My God.
But anyway, I'm really glad that you're back on this platform. I'm excited. We are going to talk about something that, okay, how do we start this? So I think it was
we doing commentary today.
I know, we're doing commentary. And I think it was like a couple months ago. I think this was before I decided I was actually going to do the pod or come back to the pod. But you sent me a video on Instagram of this clip of, oh my gosh, I want to get her name because I want to make sure. Her name is Aria Gaston. I actually don't know where her ministry is, where she leads worship, but
neither do I.
You sent me this clip. I guess she has a podcast, and the title of this podcast is called Worship Leaders Speak Out. And it was, she had worship leaders on there. She had musicians, and then she had two pastors on there, which I thought was brilliant because I feel like the communication.
It was three pastors, actually.
It was three?
Two who were like seasoned and then the couple that was in the separate room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they are from if I got that correctly, they're young pastors, I should say.
Oh, so okay, that black lady and the guy, they're married? I never caught
I don't know
that.
if they're married, but she said she's only been pastoring for, I think she said like 5 years or something like that. So she was like, yeah, she's didn't want to speak on certain things, but she was like, because
Okay,
she's new
got
to,
you.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, I do remember her saying that. Okay, so which I thought was great to have conversations with worship leaders and pastors, because I feel like
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of stuff that goes on, and the communication aspect between worship leaders and pastors, in my opinion, is not the greatest.
It is
And
not.
it does, and you don't really see these conversations with pastors. And I think it's really important, because we're on the platform together, we're sharing the platform together, and we're doing ministry together. And
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of the issues that come up would be solved if we just communicated together. So anyway,
Yep.
so you sent me this pot, and I think the actual clip was about why do worship
Oh
leaders
yeah.
not want to be pastored? And I was like, yikes.
Yeah. That was a tough one. That's why I was like, ooh,
I was like, yikes.
ooh.
And I think that one clip went viral. I think mad people has stuff to say
Mm-hmm.
about that very thing. And I have some stuff that I want to say. But before we even go there, so like what I want to do is, because there was so much that they were talking about in this episode, so much. And I took notes, because I think I texted her, I was like, yo,
Yeah.
we need to talk about this on the pod, because there's so much here. So
There's a lot.
where do you want to start? Because I got notes, and you sent me your notes about the stuff that you wanted to hit on. So how about you start first?
Yeah. Well, I think for me, I the biggest takeaway for me was definitely communication,
Yes.
right? Um, and I started, I watched the whole thing, and then I kind of like, as I got back through it and got to the end, I felt like a lot of what I was wanting to hear
Mm-hmm.
started working its way from the rear of the video back to the front.
Yeah.
Like for instance, um, the relationship between pastors and musicians, or your
Yikes.
worship team, or everybody, right?
Yes.
So there was like a moment where I feel like
Where was that? Because I
uh
want to play it so that we
one
can.
like a minute and 29, no, an hour 29,
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna pull it up.
like right, so it was like right towards the end.
Oh, you going right to the end? Because I got stuff in the front, but we'll go there.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, no, I'm gonna work. I gotta work my way back.
Got you. Okay, hold on. A minute, an hour, 29.
This is something that has to happen in the church. Musicians, worship leaders, we need to understand pastors. Pastors need to understand us. And I feel like the one thing that the pastor said, because me personally, I was more into wanting to talk to pastors about, our interactions in the church. But the hard conversations, if I can ask anything of a pastor, I feel like that should be done right in the beginning.
That right there,
Yeah.
he was more into wanting to talk to pastors. I've actually experienced a few people who feel like they can't even talk to their pastor
Yes.
as the musician,
Right.
as the whatever your position there in that
Mhm.
music department, where the pastors don't actually have a a working relationship,
Yeah.
or it's only a working relationship. It's
Right.
only, I'm pastor, you're this. When I address you, it's usually only about this.
Right.
So you don't even get a chance to even learn the full dynamics of what the pastor actually wants, what his vision is for the music ministry, if he has a clear vision for music ministry, because not all pastors are musically inclined.
Yep.
And so on and so that part, that sentence alone struck a chord with me, because I'm like, I've had a few conversations with people who were like, yeah, I need to know what the pastor, it's hard to get in contact with the pastor. Why is it hard to get in contact with your pastor? And even if it's, I don't want to dive too deep.
Go ahead.
But yes,
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Because I'm sure we're gonna get to it. But
Uh-huh.
even if you're in the position of essentially just an employee versus a member,
Right.
If the pastor hired you for the church,
Uh-huh.
then why is it so hard to get in contact with the pastor to get clear understanding and build relationship? So that's not everybody.
Right.
let's start there,
Okay.
Ivory, because I already know what's gonna happen. We're not coming for the entire kingdom of God.
No,
Okay?
no, we're not.
This matters to those who the shoe fit. Okay.
Okay. Amen.
If you know, they say a hit dog gonna holler. So if you hurt, it's probably for you. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, we could keep going.
Keep going. Okay.
Where he was at. Yeah.
Like, you know, pastors should really do that more so than be afraid to not. I don't know if you're afraid or not, but
from desperation of, you know, if you have someone that's talented and you're like, you don't have anyone, you don't have that in your space, and so you're just kind of willing to just bring them in. Let's just get them in so we can get worship going, so we don't be without this Sunday and next Sunday or whatever the case may be. So a hard question, if they're not for you, then you just got to keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? If they're like, I don't know if I can submit to that, then now they know. Now we know, or now it turns into this kind of conversation. I could help you for a couple of weeks, but after that, you know, I'm going to have to pull back. So within a couple of weeks, make sure you find someone, because, you know, that's how that works, or whatever. Just have the conversation. God will give us the wisdom, you know.
They're talking about, number one, the communication between the pastor and the musician, not just from understanding what they want, but the relationship, not just from understanding what they want musically, right? But just the relationship that they're building, whether they're going to pastor you, whether you're there as an employee,
right?
You know, like all of those different dynamics, understanding what it is that you're looking for in servitude at that, you know, particular ministry. It's in having the hard conversation up front. Because what happens, like she said, a lot of churches, you know, first of all,
oh my God,
we might have a few too many churches. That's a whole nother conversation.
Wait, what?
Okay. some of the reason why we are where we are in the uncomfortable discussions in worship ministry. Hold on, the baby calling me. Yes. Go in daddy's room and take the one that's in there. It's okay.
It's fine. We love it.
Yeah, but one of the reasons why we are in these uncomfortable positions is because we are a lot of our ministries are scrambling to get musicians that don't exist.
What do you mean?
Right. So, for instance, if I start my church, I'm hypothetically, y'all, if I start my church tomorrow, and I'm now like, hey, well, I need a musician. I need to get a musician for our ministry because we need to have the best. We got to have the very best. And now I'm out here looking for musicians, and now out of desperation, like she said, because we got service, our first service starts next week, and I don't have a keyboard player. So now I go grab anybody that I know that can actually play half a decent keyboard. I done gave them a title. You gonna be my music minister. Right? All of this is out of desperation now, right? And so I done got this person. I didn't have a real conversation with this person to really understand where they are,
right,
and to actually let them understand where I am,
right.
But because I just desperately wanted to have a keyboard player, which you don't need for worship, we'll come back to that. I hired this person, and now we're 6 months down the road, and we're butting heads because I done called 3 extra services, and he didn't know what he was in for.
Right.
And now I feel like, well, you as a musician in the house of the Lord, if you're serving here, you should be okay with coming to these services because you're doing it as unto God.
Right.
And now the shift has changed. And what I like to say, we like to be corporate when it's suitable,
Right.
and then we like to be spiritual when it's suitable.
Yikes.
Yeah, so like that's those are the hard conversations. Am I asking you to come out of desperation and I just need a musician? Because then I'm just going to hire you and contract you as a musician, and I won't feel any type of way when you tell me no. Oh, we gonna have a week of revival. I need you there for revival. No. You needed a musician for Sunday services. Now you asking me to do a whole bunch of extra stuff, and technically you're not my pastor.
Okay.
Because that's not how we built the relationship. We built it out of desperation of you wanting a keyboard player. So now we need to reframe the conversation. So these are the hard conversations. That's why I like when he got there towards the end. Like, these are the hard conversations that need to be had in the beginning when you're seeking out worship leaders, musicians. I call the whole music department worship leaders.
No, it is.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
And so
actually, before you even go
seeking
there,
out these people,
because I forgot the people of God, that this platform is geared towards everybody who's in worship ministry. So like, that's musicians, that's worship leaders, that's singers, that's the audio. To me,
Yes.
it's all encompassing.
It's
so
all
like,
encompassing.
this is for not just the singers, but for the musicians. And this is an episode for musicians and singers. So yes, go ahead.
Yeah. But those are the hard conversations you got to have in the beginning.
Yeah. No, sorry. Go ahead.
Yes, accept the levels and the clear expectations. So, and I think from the hiring standpoint, those have to be set. You have to, and in order to set those expectations, sometimes you just got to go through it.
Yeah.
So you can understand what it is you actually need. Versus why I said sometimes we have too many churches, because everybody's signing up to be a pastor these days.
Yikes.
And
brother, that is
we got churches. We got churches everywhere on every corner in the hood. You know, it's like 13 churches on one street.
That's a fact.
And so, that's why.
And everybody's using
a lot of times
musicians.
And we end up in that place of desperation where we end up hiring the wrong person for that ministry,
because you didn't vet them. One of the things that one of the gentlemen on the podcast was talking about, he was talking about how before he was hired for a church to be their minister of music, the pastor asked him every question in the book. And I mean, the questions that made him very uncomfortable, the questions that went into his personal life, the questions like that really got under the hood of who you are. Where's your walk with God? Where's your heart in all this? Is this just a gig for you? And the whole gigging mentality in churches today is very interesting. And I'm not a musician, so I feel like it's hard for me to really speak on this topic of the whole gigging thing. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, let's just put it here. Gig equals work.
Right.
So it's like we use the term a lot loosely in the music community, essentially, but other industries use the word gig too. So it's not, it doesn't only apply to us. Basically, gig is work.
Right.
If you're hiring me to do a job, technically speaking, it's a gig, because I always end up getting in trouble here because the wordplay dynamic. I always get in trouble in this space because, you know, it's like the difference in saying, okay, this is ministry, we're not performing, but you have to actually do an activity, which is a performance to do the ministry.
Right.
So again, gig equals work. If you're being paid to serve at the church or play or do whatever it is that you're skilled to do, that equates to a gig. But your heart posture should equate to the ministry portion of it.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I love that the gentleman was talking about how the pastor really dug in and questioned him about a lot of those things, because you could tell the beginning, the origin of that relationship started on from a pastoral point of view. It was like, I'm looking for someone to come play, but I'm looking for someone to pastor
Right.
in this ministry.
To be
I'm not just looking
planted.
for I'm not looking for just a musician.
Right. So
Yeah, and so
I think the whole, like, just the word gig has a negative connotation to it. So like you're saying gig is just work, but like when someone says, "Oh, is this just a gig for you?" Like the connotation is very negative. And I think the assumption is that because it's ministry, you're supposed to, like the money is not supposed to mean as much as the ministry. And this leads me to one of the other portions that they talked about in the episode. The pastor, one of the pastors, I don't remember which one it was, but he said, oh God, I hope I'm saying this right. He said, this is the attitude that I get from worship leaders and worship and musicians, that you go where the biggest check is.
Right. But here's the thing, because when we start talking about gig versus ministry, like, again, you gotta, if you're paying someone to do a job or a service, that portion of it is gig. Right. And if you treat and approach the relationship from, again, that's why I said we want to be corporate when it's suitable, and it's spiritual. And it's like, yo, we gotta, from the inception of the conversation, the two need to be married.
Right.
If this is a paid position, marry the two, marry corporate and spiritual immediately, so there's no blurred lines.
Right.
Like,
right.
Let's understand what it is from the beginning of the conversation. Let's understand what this is, and then let's set the clear expectations of the role of the gig.
Yeah.
And then let me be able to separate the role of the gig from what the things that I may do extra because of ministry purposes.
Okay, so let me kind of like personalize this, right? So I have a friend, I'm not gonna say his name, but I have a friend, and he is a worship leader. I can only speak on the side of a worship leader because I'm not a musician. I know that it's kind of like two different worlds, or is it? I don't really know, but
yes. Now, should it be? That's a whole nother. We'll dive into that in a second.
Correct.
Yeah.
But okay, so I have a friend. He's a worship leader. He goes to a lot of different churches, and he ministers at a lot of different places. And one of the things that I notice is that, and I hope if this friend is watching this, they're probably going to know who I'm talking about. I love you so much. It's no shade. It's just a question. It's just something on my mind. But like, one of the things that I hear that kind of plays into what this pastor was talking about is, oh gosh, this is probably going to put a lot of people on blast, but they always say, what is this check looking like? Right. So we're looking at the kind of church, we're looking at how big the church, so that we can know how much to ask, so that we can, and I'm coming from a generation of.
You want me to fix it?
No, I want to just say it. I'm coming from a generation of a mindset where, first of all, coming up as a worship leader, we wasn't paid. Paid? What are you getting paid for? Like, this is ministry, right? So So I'm coming from the mindset of the money should not matter, or the money should not matter
Right.
as much as, we're just doing this for the Lord and all the things. So now fast forward to today, and I see how my friend like operates and stuff, and just the language around it. It sounds, I don't know what to make of it, because it sounds icky. It feels weird, but I do know that there's a scripture that says that I don't remember the exact scripture, but a minister or a prophet is worth his wages, or something. It's worth his hire.
I know.
Do you know what I'm talking about? That scripture? I feel like I need to find it.
Yeah. It actually. Lord help me. A workman worthy of his hire, something somewhere in there. I can't think, but I do remember looking that up, and it really doesn't really pertain to what we're discussing.
The laborer is worthy of his hire. 1 Timothy 5, verse 18.
Mm-hmm. In context, it doesn't really equate to the emotional attachment of ministry.
Okay.
The reason it sounds icky and feels icky is because it is icky. It's a sticky, icky landscape there that you got to walk through.
Right.
Number one, we wasn't leading worship everywhere.
True. That's a very good point.
So again, we get to, as time transitions, we have more ministries. Back in the day, you could be leading worship at your church. You might not have been the best singer. You might have been what you got. You gave it your all, but that was your church, which is why you not being paid as a professional.
Okay. Yeah.
Didn't really matter.
Right.
But we've changed into this mindset of, I gotta have the best representation. So now you're hiring. And okay, the reason you get to go to different churches, and because now they're looking to put the best representation. And so you're hiring again. And that's why it starts feeling weird. Now, to me, it's not necessarily that it's ugly or shouldn't be ugly, because the reality is all of them churches ain't your church.
Right.
You are at that point, you are rendering a service.
Right.
If you're a singer, this is what you do. You're rendering a service at that point. Do you love the Lord? Yes. Do you worship him in spirit and in truth? Yes, that's fine. But at the end of the day, you did that at 9:00 this morning. You know what I'm saying? Now you got to go do it at 10:30 at somebody else's church. You was at your church at 9.
Yeah.
You going over there at 10:30. That's a service. And if you got to go do it somewhere else, that's a service. And so the problem is, every church that you go to, they want to deem you as theirs.
Yes.
And now they start feeling like, well, we having another thing. We shouldn't have to pay you for this extra thing because,
Yeah.
So this is where the water starts getting a little murky,
right,
and stuff like that. And so when you even mention like not being paid, my thought, I know this don't exist everywhere, just my personal opinion. I know it's not realistic for every ministry, but I just feel like if you want the best representation of a praise team musically, worship team musically and all these things, I feel like everyone that is giving you that quality of a thing should be on the payroll.
Okay. Yeah.
That's just the way my brain thinks that it should go.
Yeah.
That's not always the case. And yes, a lot of our churches are volunteer based, and I understand that. But if a requirement of yours as the head of the house is to have a certain level or tier or standard of musical expressions of worship.
I want to ask this question. It's probably a really stupid question. Okay, but it's a question that I've had that I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so this is very practical. Very practical.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you are a traveling worship leader. You go from here and there. Let's say you're a musician. You go from here and there. How do we properly rate ourselves? How do we properly determine how much we should get paid? And let me just say this. I hate having that conversation.
Oh, most of us
the
do.
ideal would be, because I've been in situations where the ministry will come up to me and they say, hey, would love you to come and help our ministry and come and lead like maybe twice a month or whatever you can give. They don't say nothing about money. So now you have, because you got to be the one to travel to this location. So you got the gas, huh? Now I have a 9 to 5. So like whatever I get from a ministry is not my bread and butter. Do you know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna look like a
no,
terrible
but these are the
person on
conversations
this
we need to
particular
have.
podcast.
Hello, this is
off
mic.
I already know.
This is off
I'm
mic.
sorry. I'm sorry. I know what this, but this is, and again, this is me. The people probably gonna be in the comment like, don't have him come back.
No, we love you. But here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying. So like they don't say nothing about it, right? So now you got to be the one to be like, all right, dang, like, do I say something? And is that going to make me seem like I'm money hungry and all the things? And then, you give. Okay, so then you bring it up. It's mad awkward. You're like, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So are you going to pay? And then
there's some sort of compensation.
Is there some love offering? My God. And then they say, oh yeah, 150. Now, depending it the number all depends on where where the church, the ministry, the scope, whatever. And I'm just throwing out a number. And let's say for you as the musician or the worship leader, there might be this pressure to just accept whatever they tell you because you don't want to be like, no, actually my rate is 500. You know what I'm saying? And it's like,
now you look like the jerk.
Correct. And I feel like the ideal would be for churches to like actually recognize the value of the people that they are asking to come into their ministries and actually decide to pay them properly. So my question is, one, what do you think about that? And two, how do we, because I've heard some exorbitant numbers. Like, again, my friend, I love you, my friend. I'm not going to put you out here, but my friend, like
it's okay.
This person has told me like the numbers that he has given to places. And granted, it all depends on, do I have to rent a car? Who's paying for the rental of this car, gas, food, like, am I bringing in musicians with me? There's a whole lot of stuff that comes to it. Do you know what I'm saying?
You are striking many nerves and
go ahead. I'm
this quadrant.
I'm just saying.
Here, I think it's always going to bring me back to, we want to be corporate,
right?
When it's feasible for you, and then we we want to be spiritual,
right,
when we're trying to make it work in our favor,
right?
And so, what's your worth? What's your value? What do you deem your gift's value to be? Now,
who determines
some
that
of us,
value?
What's going to determine the value? The value is usually determined. I could say I'm $1,000 guy, right? But to the person who's looking to hire me, he may say, well, in my eyes, you're
Right.
a $500 guy.
Right.
Right.
But then can I
Now-
pause you right here? Because for me to say I'm a $1,000 girl, do you know how crazy that sounds? Like, it sounds so arrogant.
Let me tell you what sounds crazier. And this is from not just the church side,
Okay.
but the we'll call it secular side.
Uh-huh.
I actually was at work having a conversation with some fellow musicians, right? Some of these guys they're older than me, and they've been in the scene when I was younger.
Right.
So when they were playing out in the scene, I used to go and say, "Oh man, look at these guys playing." So 30 years ago, the number was, oh, we went to go do this gig. It paid like $125, $150.
Right.
30
years ago. Because yesterday's price.
No. Today's price is $125, $150.
Correct. Right. And that
You see what
that is crazy.
And that's what sounds crazy to
Right.
me.
Well,
That is what sounds crazy to me. So for me to say I'm a $1,000 guy and you push me back to 500 when 30 years ago the rate was 500
right.
is bananas. The economy has shifted. Like, not only, oh, you pushing buttons. Not only has the economy shifted,
Right.
but in a lot of our ministries, we are demanding more.
That is so true, for less.
And we're demanding more for less.
Yeah.
We're not only demanding more for less, but we're only demanding more because of monkey see, monkey do.
Yikes.
And so again, I know I'm gonna be bad guy on this. It's okay. It's okay because it's just okay. The reality is, take away the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Take away your accessibility to some of these conferences.
Mm-hmm.
Just on the word of God alone,
Mm-hmm.
you lose half of the things we're doing. The reality is, if you tell me you're $1,000 and I talk you down to 5, then and you agree, then I've determined your worth. Because if we go to Publix supermarket right now and they tell me that this bottle of Dasani, this 1 liter bottle of Dasani is $5, I can't go in there and tell them, well, I'm only going to pay $3. Because they've determined the value. So technically, we determine our own value. Is our own value realistic sometime? No. And again, when if I'm in a desperate situation and that's the only, and I'm badly in need of water, and that's the only bottle, and I personally hate Dasani, but if that's the only bottle of water, I'm gonna pay the $5 because I'm desperate. This is where a lot of us end up. And so when we talk about the hiring aspect versus like feeling like, I don't feel like people should feel no type of way. I'm gonna pinch somebody's skin real quick.
Go ahead. Just go ahead.
I don't feel like you as a worship leader should feel any type of way if you end up having to do 3 or 4 services on a Sunday at different ministries, and are being compensated to do so.
Mm-hmm.
I think number one, I said it a second ago. I think some of our reality is off when it comes to our worth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's why sometimes, like, it's even for myself, it's hard for me to, like, when people be like, how much you gonna charge for this? So I sometimes I gotta think. Like, some people, they don't think about it. They be like, oh yeah, I'm charging this for this service or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I gotta think, because I'm no matter how much friends of mine or people that know me hype me up,
Mm-hmm.
like, I have a governor.
Yeah.
my governor tells me, like, bro, you know your limit. Like, so I don't care how high you talk me up. Oh, he's one of the best keyboard players in the world. That boy, he can play anything. No, I can't. I'm gonna let you talk. But I know my limitation. So when you start asking me, okay, well, how much you gonna charge for? I start thinking, I'm like, okay, yeah, I know what I would like.
Yeah.
But let me see what's realistic for what I can actually deliver.
Right.
And most of us we don't do that. And
Yeah,
so
that's
there
true.
you end up with this situation of advantage taking.
Right.
In the church space, you're taking advantage from as a musician.
Right.
And sometimes you're being taken advantage of as a musician.
Right.
Because you might be saying, hey, okay, well, I'll do it for this, and I'll do it, and then again, not taking into consideration all that might entail, or you might be getting requested to do.
Right.
And now you went from, yeah, I'll do it for this much. Yeah, we got one service on Sunday, and okay, you want me to come to one choir rehearsal? No problem. And you got one service in the choir rehearsal that now turned into 3 services a Sunday and a Bible study, and then the choir rehearsal, and you might have got a $50 raise if they was being nice.
Yeah.
So that's why I said, to me, it's like when we start talking about money in the ministry and music and the things we want, there's a part of this video, I know how you probably read this and chuckled. They were touching on where the young lady and the musician are serving at now, where the dynamic kind of shifted from sets to right. So they shifted dynamics, because one of the things that came up in the conversation was, the pastors were saying, we don't want no sets. Y'all come in here to play sets.
Yeah.
Like it, and I understand. And so they shifted the dynamics of how they were approaching worship. And I love the conversation they had and where that conversation led to, because at that moment, the leaders of that ministry understood what they wanted. And even if it took time to get there, they were in clear enough communication and relationship with their team to express the shift that they wanted to see happen. And I wrote down the problem that I think a lot of us have is like, it's the difference between what you think you want versus what you don't realize you have.
Oh, yes.
And is your team capable?
Yes.
Of delivering your fantasized worship?
Yes. Okay. Let's stay right here. Let's say la right here, because one of the things that irritates me as a worship leader is when a pastor wants something fantastical, right?
Yes.
They do, like you said, they do not recognize what they actually have, what your people are actually capable of doing. And then they request something from you as the worship leader or the band that's like, I don't know how to do this. But it's like, it's this pressure to create, to do something that is outside of your scope. Now, I'm not saying that we shouldn't be challenged. I think we should be challenged to grow and get better. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying there are times when, like, either it's on the fly or like very short notice. Hey, I need y'all to do this. Well, I, 1, can't sing that. 2, like, we can't play that. And it's like, it irritates me. Do you know what I'm saying? I feel like I lost my train of thought.
A lot of pastors don't understand. They don't understand what they actually have.
It feels unfair.
Okay, so there's a difference between some pastors are musically inclined. Some leaders of their house, they're musically inclined. They have an ear for it. Right. They understand what it is. Right. Like all the things that it is.
Right.
Then you have a a lot of the other pastors, which they like music or love music, but they don't necessarily have a full understanding of what that really embodies in the hidden details of what that is.
So when they tell you, hey, I want you to sing this particular song and sing it just like the track, and you're just like,
they don't understand.
I can't
That's
do
not
that.
in your
and
register.
Then they look at you and they're like, well,
not.
why? Why can't you do this? Why can't you do that? I don't understand. And it's like, but when we've been doing ministry and this has never come up, we didn't have this conversation. This was never like a thing. And now all of a sudden, maybe because you saw something that you saw on YouTube or you saw another ministry doing it and you thought it was fabulous and the glory of God fell in that moment, and you come back to us talking about we need to do the same thing, bro. Like,
yeah. And there's nothing wrong with like seeing somebody else do something, because I know what I said earlier and I want to make sure I'm clear. There's nothing wrong with being inspired.
Right.
But in your being inspired, make sure that you understand what that is. Like if you want to replicate or duplicate whatever that is you saw, like you have to have some understanding of how that came about.
Right.
And what that is that actually made that a possibility.
Or can we have a conversation, Pastor? Can you sit down with us and talk to us and say, hey, I saw this or I heard this, and do you think you guys can do that? Like, let's have a conversation. It goes back to what you were saying in the beginning, like the communication between pastor and worship leader, or pastor and worship ministry is just not really there. And it's like, it's this demand to to create bread out of stone.
He ain't Jesus. We just trying to be like him. Oh my God. No, that's a real thing. That's a real thing. Like at the end of the day, if you're not fully aware and understanding of how certain things and dynamics work in your ministry, like if you're not fully, if you aren't a video producer or have worked in broadcasting and certain things yourself and you're the pastor, and you don't understand the nuances of that world, then before you go requesting a bunch of stuff of your volunteers or putting a demand on them to do certain things and expecting it from them, like actually maybe get somebody, if we're talking about hiring, get somebody who actually works in that world.
Right.
And now we're back to the conversation of, are we hiring or are we looking to pastor? Because here the thing is, you can hire someone and they can eventually, if without pressure, if you're doing what you need to do as the pastor and talking the talk and walking the walk, then eventually you may become their pastor.
Okay.
But you might need to just hire a professional that knows what they're doing in that department and let them help your volunteers grow into what you need them to be.
Okay, so
same thing with the music department, like get somebody in there who is proficient at that task and understands and can communicate with you as the leader so that you can have a better understanding of what that looks like.
Okay, so I'm rolling up my sleeves because we're going to go.
I see it. That girl ready to fight.
We're going to go into, and I'm going to play this clip because this goes to that clip, the original clip that you sent me, okay? Can you be pastored as a worship leader? Can you worship leader? Can you musician? Can you audio person? Can you regular worship team member? Can you be pastored? And I had so many emotions that came up when I saw that clip because and it's a great conversation and it's a needed conversation. Okay, so it was 49 minutes. 49 minutes. And I feel like this lady, this pastor, the young pastor, I feel like she had something on her when she said it. Because I was like, man, you didn't have to come for our lives like that. Okay. All right, I'm going to play this.
Number 2. This is going to ruffle feathers, but amen. That's what
Talk your talk.
Amen. Worship leaders are out here rogue. Can you be pastored? What is wrong with getting a pastor? So many times you see worship leaders that want, they want the W-9, but we are to be shepherded.
Yeah.
And if you're never connected anywhere ever, my old pastor used to say you need to be committed to God and connected to your leadership. If you are not committed to God and you can't submit to anybody, it's your way or the highway. I see a ton of worship leaders not pastored.
Yeah.
You can't tell them nothing because I'm gifted, so their gift supersedes the word of God. The devil is a liar. We got to submit to leadership.
Oh, for sure.
If we don't submit to leadership, leaders protect, they cover, they shepherd hearts. I see this all over the world. Worship leaders don't want their heart shepherded. Let me do me.
There's a reason, and I'm not in that category, but I get it. Sure. I might be partly in, but I have a pastor, and I'm under him, and I follow them, just to get that out there.
And not as a whole, not every worship leader.
No, and I understand. But you're right. But does the connection?
We have a celebrity culture.
Yeah. Because I don't feel, just speaking for worship leaders, I don't feel that worship leaders are looking to be in people's churches and just go from one church to the next church if it doesn't work out. I really believe that a person that God has given a gift to, they want to connect with someone that they can trust. And I really believe that they want to connect to a community and a church that they don't have to come up out of that. But I feel like there's a statistic, and I did some research, that worship leaders are leaving. They're just leaving the churches because of what it has become. So it's a hard thing. Some of that is because of what they may have gone through in previous relationships.
That was looking okay, there is so much here. Let me tell you my original feeling.
Let's have it.
When she said worship leaders are out here rogue. Oh my gosh. Okay, help me, Holy Spirit. Because there's so many thoughts that I had going through my mind, partly because of my own experiences, right? She said, worship leaders are out here rogue. Can you be pastored? I've had this conversation with another worship leader friend of mine. And one of the things that we said was, we both said, it irritates me. It irritates me. And one of the worship leaders in this podcast, she was like, it irritates me. She was like, it irritates me, because she was like, one of the things she said was, because I feel like you don't trust me as the pastor. You don't trust me to do what you have asked me to do, what I've been called to do, what I feel like God has gifted me to do. You don't trust me. I hear that. And I was one of those people that had the same feeling. And I wonder, DWayne, because I'm in a season where the Lord has been checking me in every which way. Okay. And I wonder if that is wrong. Is there a part of it that's your pride? And I wonder, I'm just asking these questions because, beloved, I was one of those people that's like, it irritates me. Yes, it does irritate me. That's one thing. I don't know if you want to hit on that first, and then I go through my other points.
Real quick. I think the reason that it irritates is, I don't want to sound like I'm coming for pastors. I'm not. Yeah. But I feel like this goes back to the relationship. The status of the relationship. Like, when you felt like that, was the relationship between you and your leader in a place where y'all might even just go somewhere and experience other worship ministries together?
No.
Like, were you in a place with that leader where you were able to like understand the heart of that leader in when it comes to the worship music space? And I think, reason I'm asking that, because I feel like most people who are in a frustrated area in that regard are typically in that space because they don't know what it is that their leader actually wants. And so when the leader finally decides to come and talk to them and tell them, okay, well, I want you to do this and I want you to do that. And I'm like, well, based on our relationship dynamic, you hired me to deal with worship. And so now you're coming to me telling me how you want to do worship. And and there's no relationship. There's no true connection there to even say, like, that conversation shouldn't irritate you. I feel like it shouldn't, but it only does because y'all don't have a relationship that y'all have fostered together in that space of worship music.
Here's my question. What is pastoring? Because what you're describing to me just sounds like regular instruction. It just sounds like it, because
instruction is like what most people are getting, which is frustrating.
But
they're just getting instruction.
Is that the same thing as being pastored though? Because for me, pastor.
No, that's just being a boss.
But okay. So then that's what I'm saying. So I feel like are we confusing the two? Are we frustrated because the pastor's coming to us like a boss, or are we frustrated about the idea of being pastored? Because being pastored in my mind is someone who's looking after your heart, someone who's looking after your soul. So
let the dynamics of that start from the beginning. Number one,
right.
Let me know that that's what we're here for.
Okay.
That number one. And then if that is what we're here for, then let's build on that relationship and not just, okay, I'm your pastor. Did you guys select the songs for Sunday yet? Okay, good. All right. I want y'all to do a good job now. All right, let's worship together. Because the reality is that's the dynamics of most of the pastor in the music department.
Yeah.
That is the dynamics. It's like, okay, let me see what you guys got.
Right. And because she was saying worship leaders out here being rogue, you don't want to be pastored. And maybe it's just me. Here are my thoughts. I'm not, okay. Help me, Holy Ghost. Because I want to be clear.
Yeah, be clear. Yeah.
It's not that I can only speak for myself. I can't speak for every worship leader. I can only speak for me. It's not that I want to be rogue. And I don't think that most of us want to be rogue. I think if we are being rogue, it's because there's a distrust. There is the experiences that we've had in the past, maybe from other places that we're coming from, where we've experienced a lot of hurt and our hearts have not been handled properly. And there is this dynamic where a lot of worship leaders and musicians just feel used. They don't feel like the pastors actually care about their well-being, that actually care about their hearts, care about them as a person, completely separate from what they give or what they contribute to their ministry, right? So I'm not trying to be rogue. If it comes across that I don't want to be pastored, maybe it's because, and maybe the pastor should get curious about, well, why does it seem like you are standoffish in that way? And if you ask those questions, if you really get curious, I think the worship leader, for me, I would be willing to tell you, I've been hurt deeply in the past. I've been hurt by other pastors, by other leaders that have just used me and abused me. And there's this feeling of fear and a lack of trust to in a sense give myself over to another ministry again. Like, you're aware of what happened to me in my situation, which I've already shared on this platform. But like, for me, the thing that I'm still working through is there. And it's crazy because I think I told this story in that episode where the Lord woke me up in the middle of the night, and I got up to pray, and I was praying, and I was writing in my journal, and this thought just literally fell out the sky. I wasn't thinking about it. It wasn't anywhere in my mind. It just literally fell in my spirit. And I really felt like it was the Lord pointing out something to me, that you are afraid to submit yourself to another ministry again. You are afraid. And I was like, and am. I am. Like, it scares me to death, because there's this idea that I've been manipulated. I've been, sometimes leaders conflate manipulation and control with pastoring.
And let's talk about it. The reality is, there's a level of that often happens in ministry, where there is the game that we play. It's like, like, come on. The reason that we are even in this conversation is because there's not enough truth being spoken. There's not enough, like, let me just tell you what I really want and how I really feel about it, and let's see where you are with my feelings, and then I'll see where you are with your feelings. And if we are in line with our feelings, then we can probably have a great working relationship. Right? But what we do a lot of times is we say what we think sounds right versus saying what we really want to say.
Like us as worship leaders?
And the leadership and the pastors.
On both sides. Okay.
We say what we think is supposed to be said, to get that relationship going between, I need to get a worship leader in the house, and I'm gonna say the things that I want to see. I'm gonna say the things that I want to see that sound spiritually correct.
Yeah.
And now you have bought in, and now that you're bought in and you're serving, you're doing the thing, it's like now little pieces of my truth start to spill over into how I really feel about what I really want to see. And now you start feeling away because that's not kind of what we talked about. But now you start, and now you're starting to show your colors in the fact of like, well, I ain't really feeling that. And so now I'm low key anti. So I think that's how we land in that situation of, number one, not speaking our truth, like what we really want. Because again, and it's okay if we don't really know in the beginning. But if we have a real relationship, if you are now, number one, I think as the pastor, if I'm the pastor and I'm asking you to be my worship leader at the church, I feel like, as you being the person who is going to be kind of like seen before me, I feel like we should really be on the same page.
We should be locked in.
We should be locked in, which means like to the point where it's like, all right, it's after church. All right, Ivory, I'm going to see you at the house for dinner. All right, because you need to be on my hip. You need to be on my hip. And you need to hear all my groanings and my moanings and all of the things that trouble my heart, the things that make my heart happy. And I need to know that once we lock in, if we're locked there, then I know that when you go before me, you're singing songs that are going to prepare me for ministry. You're preparing the house because you know the heart and where the posture of the leader is. And I don't think that's not the dynamic. And so that what happens is now we're frustrated and we feel like I don't want to be pastored in a sense because I don't know my pastor. I don't know the pastor. That's
Right.
not my pastor. I don't know the pastor because to pastor me means that you are building relationship. You're building relationship with me. You're leading me. You're my shepherd here on earth in sense. And so for me to follow you, like you spend time with me, like
Right.
if the shepherd spends time with his sheep and not just sitting here teaching me like, no, I'm taking care of my sheep's fur. That's not the right word.
No, I think
Whatever. But
think it's
I'm grooming my sheep.
yeah.
I'm bathing my sheep.
Yeah.
I'm taking care. I'm feeding my sheep.
Yeah.
I'm making sure that my sheep, they don't just come to me to see what's next. They come to me to feel loved.
Yes. Yes.
And if I don't feel like I have that type of relationship with you, then technically you're my boss.
Correct.
In that space, you're just my supervisor. You're my boss. And so in this setting that we call ministry, church, worship, is like if you want to have a healthy dynamic there, there needs to be a stronger bond in that pastor, worship team, musician dynamic where it's like, hey, like y'all understand my heart. Y'all actually know my ebbs and flows and where I want to go and what I see for the vision. And then now you can say whether you agree with it or not. And if you don't agree with it, now we can have that conversation and say, well, I don't really know if I really vibe with that pastor. Like, I'm not really sure we on the same page, and then now we can have the conversation. Well, all right, you know what, man, it's no problem. I understand that we might not. Can you vibe with me for like a couple months? Let me find somebody else to kind of get in this seat.
So let me ask you this question, because they also talked about this too. Should that relationship be only with let's paint the scenario here. Let's say you have a worship team, right? And so you got like 5 or 6 members, you have someone who's over the worship team, and then you have lead pastor, right? So like what I see in my own experiences is that the lead pastor is only in relationship, some sort
with the worship pastor.
With the worship pastor. Don't have really nothing to do with everyone else who's under that worship pastor. And then there's this hierarchy of who do you go to as said regular worship member. You're not the worship pastor. So like that worship member is supposed to go to the worship pastor, who then the worship pastor goes to the lead. But what happens if, like, should that lead pastor also be in relationship with everybody on the worship team, including all the musicians? Because sometimes, and this is just maybe it's just me, but like, I want to be in relationship with my pastor. Even if I'm not the worship pastor, I'm on the worship team. I want to be in relationship with my pastor. Is that unreasonable?
Yeah, it's not unreasonable. I think that there is a level of hierarchy, and again, this is structure. So this is, if you want to call it corporate, fine. But there is like, I feel like the I don't want to call them random, but let's just say our regular soprano that sing on.
Don't call them random.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
You're not random. Yeah, it's random. But let's just say you're just a soprano on the praise team.
Right.
There is a hierarchy. I don't feel like your soprano number 2 and soprano number 3 need to have the same dynamic of relationship.
Okay.
With the pastor as the worship pastor.
Okay.
But there should be a level of relationship. Yes, like the worship pastor holds basically bears the pastor's heart.
Right.
Like,
right.
They're that close.
Mm-hmm.
And that worship pastor should be able to convey some of that to the worship team under him.
Mm-hmm.
But there shouldn't be a disconnect from lead pastor where you don't have no real relation. Like, again, it's and to me, it's simple things. It's like, yo, we're going out bowling. I want to come hang out with my whole music department.
Love that.
Like, we're going bowling. This is just me and the music department. I want to spend some time with y'all, and y'all really kind of get the vibe with me, and then we'll talk. You know, it's like coming to sit in and having conversation. Let y'all into where I'm at. Like my worship pastor already knows most of this stuff,
right?
But I want to come and give y'all a little insight so y'all can feel where I'm at, and we can kind of get on the same wavelength a little bit, and that y'all don't feel so far away and disconnected from me.
I'm gonna throw in a monkey wrench.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna throw in a monkey wrench, because one of the things that they talked about in this episode was the need for the worship pastor to feel supported by their pastor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Get that. Understood. You don't want to feel as the leader that the pastor kind of like undercuts your leadership and you feel like they don't have your back. I get that.
Yeah.
But let's say soprano number 2, right, is having some major issues with the worship pastor. And can we keep it all the way 100 here, please? Sometimes the worship pastor can be janky. Though sometimes the worship pastor has is toxic.
Yeah, no, very
has
true.
A
very
horrible
true.
heart, is not treating his people properly, right?
If that's the case, it's the lead pastor's fault because he ain't paying enough attention.
Hello, because and here's the thing that concerns me sometimes is that the pastor and the worship pastor become boys, okay, right? And so if that pastor is not careful and not discerning and doesn't understand boundaries,
mm-hmm.
they will see past or not even catch the red flags or discern what the Spirit should be showing you. And then you got soprano number 2 who's having issues with their worship pastor, and then because of the hierarchy, who are they supposed to go to?
Well, the pastor in the video, one of the pastors in the video said that he brought up like, yeah, you might be following me and coming around and going to all the things and doing the things, but are you able to basically take correction when I give it?
Yes.
Right. And so the worship pastor, yeah, y'all boys, y'all could be boys and all of that, but if the lead pastor, if the head of the house gets into a place where he feels he can't correct his boy, who is essentially his worship leader, his worship pastor, then that something's wrong with that dynamic. Because if it pertaining to the house, the things of the house, the matters of the house, and you can't correct that person, then that means that there's going to be a toxic transition down to the rest of the team.
Yeah.
So now he feel like he could do whatever he want because pastor not finna check me. So if me and soprano number 2 start falling out, it is what it is.
Right.
You know, and so that's why I said it starts from the head down. Y'all need to be close and have an understanding. And again, that relationship ain't to say necessarily you need to be best friends.
Right.
But you need to be close enough to understand where my heart is pertaining to this part of the ministry and the ministry at large. And so I'm not saying y'all need to go play basketball together every Friday. You know what I'm saying? But if you are going to play basketball every Friday, in that hooping, there needs to be some conversation. There needs to be some moment where y'all are going like, hey, man, I'm going. There's a worship thing going on down the road here. I want you to come with me. We're going to go out there. Let's just, take in what it is. Boom, boom.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go out to eat and we're going to talk about what we just experienced and all that. You know what I'm saying? So there needs to be that level. And then if you have a friendship that is outside of that, like, oh, yeah, we go and hoop together on the weekends. That's good. But there's still a dynamic of, as pastor, like as much as we might be boys, as pastor, I still got to be submissive to wherever you want this to go. And because I'm so close to you, I understand it, and I don't feel no type of way about you correcting me. I'm able to take the correction. And yes, every pastor doesn't necessarily have the best heart in regard to we're people. This is individual. This is a case by case thing. So what I'm saying don't pertain to everybody. Some people, some pastors are janky, some worship pastors are janky, and the people under them, they might be janky.
Correct.
But in all, what we would love to be the scenario is, yes, you have a pastor with a heart of gold, and if he's correcting you, he's correcting you on good merit and good standard because of what he sees for the ministry, and it's biblical, it's sound. The correction needed to happen. You take the correction, you bring the correction down to your people, you let them understand that there's a shift here. I did something out of pocket. We have discussed. It's boom, 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 and you move forward, and that's how you create that unity in the space. And I think that is a part of what's lacking a lot in that dynamic, the church dynamic, when you talking about worship ministry and the leadership, is those relational points, the relational spots where it's like, yo, you're not just my boss.
Right.
Or you are.
Right.
And if you're just going to be that, we understand that from day one.
I think that musicians and worship leaders, I feel like when we come to a place and say we're going to a place and we're helping out, I feel like it's like the dating. It's like we're dating that church.
Oh,
we're dating that pastor. And I think sometimes I think pastors expect us to just be like, we love you and we're here.
Day one.
Day one. And it's like, but you didn't take no time to like.
You ain't court me.
At all. At all.
And that's why I say at the end of the day, it's like, yo, you approached me because you needed a service.
Right.
So this relationship started off as a business.
Right.
You approached me because you needed a service. I'm rendering a service for hire.
Right.
And so if you want this relationship to go beyond that, then you got to court me.
Correct. I think pastors need to understand that and not be offended by that. I don't think most of us are looking to just jump from one place to the other. I think a lot of us really want to be planted, but we also want to know that where we are about to be connected to, that leadership actually really cares about us. And so there is a dating portion to this that I don't think pastors understand. And I think they may even get offended or take offense. Like, why don't you just want to join us right away? Like, bro, I don't know you and you don't know me. And that relationship takes time. There's so much more that could be said in this conversation, but I think this is about an hour and a half after I chop out all the hiccups. This is about an hour and a half and this was so good. But I would say to everyone, please go watch this episode. It's called Worship Leaders Speak Out on Aria Gaston's YouTube, and I'll put it in the show notes so that you guys can go back and take a look at it. If
you got muted, your mic just got muted. Fix that. While I'm saying, I think they came out with a part 2. I saw they had a part 2 with it, but it's only 3 of them having a conversation. I haven't dived into that part 2 yet.
I saw that. I clicked on it. I didn't really get into that one yet because I knew I really wanted to have a conversation about this one
first. Yeah.
But I will go back and check that one out. But anyway, I just want to say, I hope this blessed y'all. I hope this helped you. I hope maybe this added language to some of the things that you were feeling. Please comment, put that stuff in the chat. Comment, let me know, what are you thinking? What are your thoughts and all the things? Please, if you like this content, subscribe, share it, send it to your friends, send it to your worship team, send it to your pastor. They might get offended, but amen.
Yeah.
Send it to
Yes,
anyone that
sadly.
you really feel would benefit from this conversation. I love having these conversations, and we're going to have so much more. Please know that we will have my brother DWayne back. We're going to be talking about other things, huh? DWayne, thank you so much. I appreciate you, your patience throughout this whole thing.
It's always a
You're a
pleasure.
saint. Anyway, I don't have anything else to say. If you want to follow me, please follow me on Instagram, Off Mic with Ivory, Off Mic with Ivory on TikTok. And you can follow me personally on Ivory McDonald Official on Instagram. And you can get this episode and the others from the past and more to come on my YouTube, Ivory McDonald. And that's it. That's all I got to say. Until next time, I love y'all. Deuces.